Hi, Cyprien here, and welcome for the next part of this small training about OnScale Analyst mode. Now I'll talk about two types of commands which are very important, the matr command for the materials and the site command for assigning these materials to your model. So I already showed you that using this very simple command, matr prop steel, and those three parameters, basically the density, the bulk, modulus and the shear modulus, I can generate one simple elastic material called steel. So here, if you look into the documentation, you'll find that you can add more parameters to that. And of course, it can be also a bit more complex than that, but I'll show you some easy method to define it. So, and the first method is actually to use the material database. So OnScale has a material database which has already a lot of those materials and properties. So you just need to add that to your material. And then there is a small button here called Save Materials to Clipboard, which will automatically save the code. So you don't have to define all this by yourself. You just save the code and paste it into your script, and you have that material. You can also put that into an external file, because as I will show you right after during the demonstration, the material definition can be a bit long. Now the site command is what is generally used to assign this material you created to your model. So if you use the region command, well, it's called regn because you have only 4 characters allowed for the command names. This command basically, if there is nothing afterwards, it will assign this material to the whole grid. Now, if you want to assign it to a specific region of the grid, you do like I already showed to you. You define some key points, and then you assign this material to those key points. Now, the site command has many other subcommands than the region subcommand, which will allow you to create different subshape and select directly what you need. So for example, you have the block command or the cylinder command or the circle command, which will allow you to select a certain region of the space which are inside a certain type of geometry. And of course, again, all of this is fully automated in the designer mode. So you don't really have to create this manually. You can go in designer mode, create the geometry, then export as a script directly and use the script generated by the designer mode. Okay, now let me show you in the software how to do this. I am now back into OnScale Analyst mode, where I just took the first part of the script that I showed you in the first video. So the grid, I create a grid of 400 by 400. Then I associate a certain dimension. I actually don't need to do that. So the total size of the grid will be 0 to 0, 1. Then I define the material. I assign this material using the site command to the whole grid because there is nothing after. And this graph command is here to actually draw my into a representation so I can view what I have. So if I preview the model right now, this is what I have, a grid with steel material of 400 elements by 400 elements. Now, this material here is a very simple definition of it. And like I told you, you can use the project material database. So in the material database, you have already a whole array of material defined. So here I have steel material that I already have added to my project. Let's say I want to add also aluminum. So I click here. Now I have 2 material into my project. Now you see that it's not only density, bulk, and shear velocity. I have dielectric constants, I have damping coefficients, thermal kind of values, a lot of stuff that I would have to write, so it would be actually very long. So I don't actually need to do that. I just need to go here and save the material to the clipboard. Click here, and then if I paste that using my keyboard Control V, you see that what appears as the whole definition of my material. So it's much longer than this one line that I had, but it's basically more or less the same. So it defines some global variables used for the material, like the dielectric constant from vacuum. Then it defines some system of coordinate axes that will be useful if you want to change the orientation of your material. And then basically here you have your metal, aluminum, and you have the steel. And the definition here is a bit slightly longer than just the prop. And the reason is that we use this command WVSP. This is to tell that I want to define my material using bulk velocity, shear velocity, and density coefficients. So if I use this command, I will define it like this. And then elec is the electrical properties. So now this is a bit long to put that into this short script. It's basically longer than the script. So what I'll do is that I'll just remove this and I will create another new file. I will paste that in this new file and I will save it under the material file extension. So I'll call that my materials, okay, .prgmat. I save it in the same folder, so make sure you save it in the same folder than your model, right? And here what I'll do is that I will delete this line and instead I will write, simp as if I was defining a variable, read, so I will read from a file, and the file name will be my materials.prgmat. And save that. And let's see if I can run it in the same way. Yes, exactly. It runs in the same way. And I see that now in my project I have two materials, steel and aluminum. Now let's talk about the side comment. So I told you I have more options than just the basic side region steel. So if just let's put it like that, to a line, let's transform it into a multi-line comment like that by adding an end. So if I add, so it says alum, and now if I put some nodes coordinates, so for example, okay, so I have 400 nodes, right? So I will put, I don't know, from 20 to 40 and 20 to 40. And now if I should see those two material, right? So this is a small cube here. So this is, if you specify a region in terms of nodes here or key points, then you will get your material display. Now there are other options than region. So, okay, so for example, I'll show you the command how to draw a circle. So there is a command, if you tap circle, you see you have this command circle 2D. So here it's written in capital letter, but actually it should be written in small letter. Circle 2D, mat name alum, and you see here that the parameters are x center, y center, and the radius. So let's put 0.05, 0.05, and for the radius, 0.03. Save that, preview my model, and now you see that I have a circle in the middle. So of course, like I told before, you have all of that is automated in the GUI, in the designer mode. So no need to really do that manually for all your all your shapes, because I believe your models are much more complex than that. You just generate in the designer mode all this code automatically. So this is to teach you basically what is the meaning of those commands. And that's all for this part about materials and the side comment how to assign material. Thank you for watching.